A big touchdown for the Washington Commanders. They're closer than ever to returning to D.C.
D.C. Council, Chris, voted to approve a nearly $4 billion deal to build a new stadium and also bring the Commanders back home. We have team coverage tonight. Our sports director, Derek Forrest, is breaking down what it means for fans, but we're going to hear from him in just a moment.
Yeah, but first, let's head out to D.C. News Now's Daniel Hamburg. All right, Daniel, it's not a done deal quite yet, but there was a whole lot of excitement at the Wilson building for this historic vote.
Chris and Mark, it was a very exciting moment inside the council chamber as Mayor Bowser started clapping. Her staff was clapping. It's a big deal not just for her and the Commanders, but people who live and work in D.C. Several council members switched their votes from no's just a few days ago to yeses because of certain agreements from the team. The $4.4 billion deal to bring the Commanders back to D.C. is almost done.
The bill is approved.
In a 9-3 vote, council members signaled they're ready to redevelop the RFK site.
This will have an immeasurable impact on the quality of life for residents in Ward 7.
And I think everybody can find something to be proud about.
The only no votes Friday came from council members Brianne Nadeau, Matt Fruman, and Robert White.
How can we say we don't have enough for our residents on Monday and then turn around and say we found $1 billion for a billionaire franchise on Friday?
One major reason some council members changed their tune on the deal is a new contract agreement between the Commanders and union partners requiring 51% of workers be district residents.
By bringing the Washington Commanders home and redeveloping the 180 acres of RFK, that will really jumpstart our economy.
White's amendments didn't pass, including one about enforceable timelines for housing, though he thinks there are enough votes to get that passed on the second vote.
I want to make sure we don't end up with just the stadium and not the housing and the grocery store that people are counting on. And if that's not enforceable, it may not happen.
Mayor Bowser just wants to start as soon as possible.
I think so many people are focused on 2030, but really to get to 2030, we start hiring consultants and contractors and planners right now.
Commanders owner Josh Harris said in a statement, RFK was the site of memories that fueled my love for this team and this city. Now we're closer than ever to reigniting that energy for a new generation. And so again, today was the first vote. There is a second and final vote on September 17th. We're live at the Wilson Building in Northwest. Daniel Hamburg, DC News Now.
All right, Daniel, thank you. And we continue our team coverage with DC News Now sports anchor Derek Forrest, who joins us in studio.
Yeah, Derek, this is certainly a major hurdle for fans. So many fans eager for the Commanders to return back home to D.C.
Yeah, 100%. And as you just saw in the Josh Harris statement, talking about the excitement of returning back home in his childhood, and that's something that a lot of fans believe in, as this is a huge deal for not just the team, but for the fan base. RFK Stadium, which currently sits on the site of what was home for the Washington football franchise from 1961 to 1996 before the team moved to where they are now over at Northwest Stadium in Landover, Maryland. Now, I've heard the RFK site numerous times referred to as the spiritual home of the franchise, and while younger fans may not know what that atmosphere of games were like over at the old stadium, older fans remember just how special things felt and would love to return to the glory days. Now, Grant Polson from 106.7 The Fan explains to why the move is so big, not just for the team, but for the DMV.
Nobody can convince me that in Washington, D.C., we should miss out on concerts from the greatest performers or games in the biggest events because we don't have a place to host it. That should never be the case, and that's got to be remedied. So hopefully this happens, because this would certainly be the remedy.
And that's one of the big things there, because when you think of broader picture, right, the World Cup usually takes place in a country's capital. It wouldn't happen here if it was at Landover at Northwest Stadium, but at the RFK site, the home of Washington, D.C., you could have the World Cup here. Right. You can have the Super Bowl here because it's a dome stadium. You can have other events. You can have concerts. The Olympics is a potential site between us and Baltimore if we have the stadium here. So there's a lot happening behind that. And on top of that, all of the money it brings to retail and businesses, and all of that stuff. Yeah. It's absolutely huge if the Commanders end up back at the RFK site and back here in the district.
Yeah, giving us the big picture.
Yeah, a lot happening. Derek, all right, thanks. All right, for the latest and any updates on the Commanders' return to D.C., head to our website, dcnewsnow.com. We have a lot of stories up there right now on this historic vote.